All right. What is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome to another live stream here. We got a $77,000 Bitcoin right here. Uh, we've got some real sentiment that we're going to be discussing in this live stream today. As usual, ladies and gents, as we're coming in, if you can hear me okay and if you can see me okay, then please do let me know in the live chat below. Thank you all for tuning in. Yeah, absolute legends. It's very, very good to see you all today. Definitely an important day. You guys always got me on these late night monsters. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I guess I just like being young. um, let's see what we got. Okay, 77,800. Oh, damn. Ethereum at 1830. I mean, I only looked at this chart like 20 minutes ago. But I mean, yeah, a lot changed. The real thing to look at is the S&P 500, and yeah, okay, so 9%, 9%. So I have a lot to talk to you guys about in this live stream today. As usual, ladies and gents, as you are coming in, do me a favor and smash those likes up. Thank you all for tuning in. It is a very tumultuous day for the markets. Everything is fucked. But you're gonna walk away from this live stream with a way healthier approach in this market. So I'm excited for that. If you're excited for that, then do me a favor and smash those likes up. We're going to be talking about Tesla stock. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about Ethereum. We're going to be talking about your favorite resident shitcoins. We're going to be talking about the S&P 500. We're going to be covering it all today, ladies and gents. Your questions, everything you like. So smash those likes up if you are excited for this one, if you are looking forward to this one. Like I am, we are locked in right here. And as usual, tell me how you are feeling. What's up, Alex? Welcome to the live stream. Beautiful Portugal. Let me know, as usual, where are you watching from, ladies and gents? And how do you feel? You feeling bullish or bearish? I want to know your country, city, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. And if you feel bullish or bearish. As we kick this stream off, like I said, I've only seen this chart about 20 minutes ago. So a lot has changed. What's up? We got Ireland. We got Atlanta. Feeling alive from San Francisco. Hell yeah, bro. You've always got the takes, bro. Moors Arabi. I need to learn to say a name properly. You legend. I did gain weight. I feel like a fat piece of shit. I'll be straight with you guys. I do. But we'll take care of that very quickly. We'll take care of that. I'll tell you what it was. Is I started programming. I learned how to program, and the thing, and I've got a Vision Pro. So you can kind of see where this is going. So I'm locked in on the Vision Pro, you know, doing like all sorts of weird hours, just like coding and developing shit. And yeah, it's a very, very sedentary lifestyle. And I'm kind of toward the end of it now. I needed to get to a good enough level of programming to where I can hire people to do it for me and know what they're doing. And I'm basically there now. So this is going to come to an end soon, hopefully. What's up? Let's see what we got in the live chat. As usual, smash those likes up as you are coming in, ladies and gents, and tell me where you're watching from today and how are you feeling. You feeling bullish or bearish? We got Turkey. What's up, Turkey? Gussim is saying, don't DCA until more dips, more upside potential. On the contrary, I think that the best time to DCA is when the dumps intensify. So I don't know. The purpose of DCA is that you're kind of, what's the word? Anti-fragile to, you know, these kind of swings in the market. What else we got? We got East Coast, Canada. Cheers from Vegas. What's up, Vegas? Bearish from the UK, Rwanda, Holland going strong. Netherlands, mega, like make Europe great again. Is that what you mean? Geo Rider saying that's awesome. What's up, man? Welcome back to the stream. We got Houston, Texas, feeling bullish. Me too, Shayla. Me too. Well, I suppose immediate term, it's a little bit harder to be bullish, but overall, extremely bullish, and we'll get into that. Why am I programming vanilla? Because I'm developing I'm developing cool stuff. I'm developing a lot of stuff, actually. I basically just decided I'm going to start building shit. And I did this before when I was younger, but then I made a little bit of money and I was like, all right, I don't need to, like do interesting stuff anymore. And then that turned out to be really boring. And I realized actually I was happiest when I was building stuff. So I guess I just kind of decided to come back a little bit. Peter is saying that he keeps on buying the dip. We got Germany feeling dead inside, but that's normal. You're German. Rotali says, I'm feeling bearish, waiting for 55k. Okay, we'll talk about the 55k level. I can understand why you would look for 55k. Let's mark 55k on the chat quickly. I'm sorry, on the chart quickly. And it is 55 is right here. That's 55k. So I can see why you would say 55k. What we got here? I'm feeling bullish, and yes, make Europe great again. Brilliant. Yeah, I completely agree with you, man. We need Europe to be great, don't we? Honestly, I think like Europe is a brilliant counterbalance to America. I mean, when Europe is at its, in a good place, that is. I don't know what Europe is anymore. It's not Europe anymore, is it? Be greedy now as we dip more, get more greedy, juicy I completely agree. This is the time to be greedy. This is it. Loving the price action. Cool. Well, let's get started, ladies and gents. Thank you all for tuning in. One last time, if you haven't done so already, do me a favor and smash those likes up. And yeah, let's talk about this Bitcoin price action. We've got a $77,000 Bitcoin here. We had that low right here at about 78k that we set just a few days ago. How long was that? Yeah, it wasn't actually a few days ago. It was more like 2 weeks now, but yeah, it's still, fairly recent. Obviously this is, it was like somewhere here that like Eric Trump told us to buy, and then his dad just, kind of sent it a little bit. And it was actually a bull trap. And, I mean, I don't know how surprised I was by it, right? Like ultimately this is classic TA. You have to expect the rejection here. But the main thesis that I was covering was that I was expecting Bitcoin to kind of, really have some potential to actually just turn this into a liquidity grab, and then we kind of get back in the range and do this. And that obviously didn't happen. Now, I didn't trade that idea because I didn't feel, convinced enough about it. But I think if I did, this would have been pretty bad. If not, it was just a thought experiment that went wrong. Fortunately, as you know, I'm still doing very, very, very well on the trades that I have actually put my money to. And ultimately, everything else is entertainment. And we will cover why in a minute. But as we continue to watch what happened here, Bitcoin basically entered a bit of a kind of bear flag, and it did the expected thing of breaking down. So this does give us a little bit of confirmation that we are in, kind of more of a macro bear trend. Now, granted, Bitcoin has already dropped by, an entire and only 29% drop. So, that's something we're going to talk about as we continue on in this live stream today, ladies and gents, because we do have problems today where we're massively blowing out of proportion what is actually happening. And I will show you why very, very soon. We got Sammy. Hey, hi, Sammy, watching from holiday in France. Still Belgian, though. Brilliant, man. Enjoy your vacation. Bullish on the mid and long term, but not sure about the short term. I understand that. Yeah, keep letting me know where you're watching from and how you feel in the live chat as we do go on. I would love to know. And thank you, those of you that have smashed up those likes. Thank you to those of you that haven't as well. Absolutely no issues. Let's carry on here. We've seen a little bit more of a kind of confirmation, you could say, right, that we are in a bear trend. But what I want to make very clear to you is, and this is going to be the anchor for the rest of the live stream, right? If you get this, you'll do well. If you don't get this, it will be at your own peril. But one of the things we need to understand very, very well is just the sheer gap between, Bitcoin's key levels, right? So let's go ahead and remove all of these lines. And I want to show you what this looks like in terms of ranges, okay? So we've got the bottom of Bitcoin's range here, roughly at about 92, give or take, and the top of Bitcoin's range here, roughly at about 72, give or take. And everything in between is going to be an empty pocket, okay? So this is a price range that we basically covered within 7 days, and it spans 28%. Now, that's really important because if you've got a 28% range, that's an absolutely massive range for the price to be moving in, okay? And the reason that that's a big deal is if you've got a big range for the price to move in, then you cannot reasonably expect your pullbacks to be shallow, okay? Really, really important points, right? I'm gonna say that one more time. Make sure that that's extra clear. If you have really big liquidity ranges like that, like empty liquidity gaps like that, you can't expect your pullbacks to be shallow. So if you want to panic and be an idiot about this, then I will give you the benefit of the doubt for the first 15%. It's a little bit more justifiable to be upset about that. But everything from this point onwards down to 72K, if this upsets you, you've got it wrong. Okay? If this upsets you, you've got it wrong. And this is a really, really big deal. It's a really, really important thing, really, really important point that I'm making right now. We need to understand that between ranges where there are empty liquidity zones, right? You're not going to get slow, comfortable price action, both on the upside and on the downside. Now, what we had previously was a straight run up, right? Just straight up in a straight line. This time, obviously, it's a little bit more complex than that. But the point is still the same. This is a 22% price range, and we finished 15% of it, which is, like 60% of the entire price range or more. We covered it, within 3 days. And then, we managed to rise up basically just this quick within 2 days, right? And then within only a matter of days after that, 5 days later, we're back down, sweeping that low. So we need to understand this as a first principle when we look at these markets. Because if you don't, you're going to lose your mind, right? Everybody's talking about Tesla being in a bad place and so on and so forth. And we really don't want to... look, I get it. These stocks are down. These coins are down. Global indices are down. But the magnitude to which they've dropped is not surprising. Okay, so the only people getting surprised by this now are going to be the sheeps, right? The people that get slaughtered in these markets. How are we following so far? Is everything making sense? Let me know in the live chat. Is everything I'm saying here making sense today? We got Apestronaut saying, laughing my ass off at anyone using Eric Trump calls to buy. Fair enough. But you got to be honest, Apestronauts. I want to be real with you, right? A lot of the biggest money that moves these markets is so institutionalized that when a guy like Eric Trump comes in and starts tweeting bullish stuff, yes, they might not take it super seriously, but what will happen is they will say, okay, crypto is legitimized. Okay, we're talking about, people that have been in these markets for decades with billions and billions of dollars. They need the president to tell them it's okay in order for them to feel like it's worth risking. And, I think this is really important in this market because despite the fact that we're getting a drop right now, we've got the most bullish setup we've ever had in Bitcoin's entire life. So as far as price action goes, this is definitely one of those instances. I think I've been doing this for 8 years. I could be wrong. Okay. I think this is one of the best opportunities that we've ever had, in the market on a long time scale. Okay, on a long time scale. Might I remind you, ladies and gents, that probably every single one of you that's losing your minds about this right now, you are also most likely losing your minds about the halving. Okay, and the halving happened roughly around over here, like I think give or take like a day or a week or so, April of 2024. This was roughly the day that the halving happened. And what's really important, it could have been a month or two later, it doesn't matter. What's really important about this is, everybody and their grandmother, for some reason, expected that the halving was going to happen and then Bitcoin would do this. And obviously, I came here, those of you that were subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're going to be so well informed about these markets. So shout out to those of you that are. You're going to remember that I said, actually, the halving is more of a kind of, non-event. Nothing actually tends to happen on it. Maybe you get, you know, like I said, I don't know if this was the halving, but if it was, you know, some of the wicks here might make sense. You know, maybe you get a little bit of, you know, like you get like a 2 or 3% move, right? Like literally like, you know, 4 or 5%. But, you know, you're not going to get that. That doesn't really happen with halving events. And as a result, we were able to, you know, kind of ground ourselves and remember that, okay, you know, like every time a halving happened, actually, this is what happened every single time, right? And one of the things I want to make as a very, very important point to you guys is, do you know what? I won't make the point. I'll show it to you. Let's take a look at this. So let's go to, let's pull up the BLX chart, okay? Because I want to show you every single Bitcoin downtrend. I'm sorry, bull market, okay? So right here, we're going to look at every single Bitcoin bull market since it was created, more or less. And I want to make a point very, very, that's very, very important to you guys, okay? So while we're inside of bull markets, Bitcoin has a real tendency to drop by quite extreme amounts, okay? So we can say that this bull market started here and ended here. We can also say that it ended here, but let's just say that this is kind of the middle of it. That's a 60% drop inside of the bull market. This is definitely inside of the bull market, and that's a 40% drop. Let's keep going. Let's keep going, ladies and gents. From this high down to here, that's a 45% drop. From this high down to here, that's a 47% drop. From this high down to here, that's a 23%. Okay, let's keep on going. That's going to be an 80%, but that was the end of the bull market, so we don't count that. This was inside of the bull market, and that was 28%, which is what we're at right now. Let's keep going, ladies and gents. Let's keep going. That's 23%. All right, this is our $1,000 high. This is where price action starts becoming a lot more relevant. But inside of this bull market, minus 44%. And let me be clear, from this high to the all-time high, the price still goes up by 33%. So if the same thing happens right now, we still close at 140, 150K inside of this bull market. So my predictions, I feel pretty comfortable with. I actually feel like they're kind of conservative. But here we are inside of the bull market again. This is now 2015, late 2015. Now we're starting to become a lot more relevant. Minus 40%. All right, here's another one. Minus 25. Again, that's roughly where we are right now. Here's minus 37. Let's keep going, ladies and gents. Let's keep going. Minus 36. Minus 36, what's this? Minus 29, that's where we are right now. Minus 40, this was the first and last time that I ever panic sold Bitcoin in my life. I entered Bitcoin somewhere around over here, and I panic sold over here, and I rebought around like here. Okay, so those are the kind of mistakes that if you're not super hateful of yourself, you'll only make them once or twice. But some people, they need a little bit more time, and that's also okay. 40% right here, minus 40%, that's minus 30%, and the bull market ends. But inside of the bull market, we're still seeing some pretty crazy swings. In the end stages, that was minus 20, and that was minus 23. They both take place across roughly one day. Let's keep going, ladies and gents. Let's see what else we got right here. This one, not too big. That was a 16%. If you want to say that this bull market technically continued, then you might be able to count this, and that's going to be a 70%. I don't know if I would count it. It's not really fair. And then 42 down to 28. That was a 32%. This is some of the really famous stuff. This was a minus 55%. And now we are at the present day market cycle. Okay, let's talk about how this relates to where we are right now. If you're finding this engaging and useful so far, then do me a favor and smash up those likes. If you haven't done so already, double check that you have subscribed to this YouTube channel. Of course, it is the best YouTube channel on the platform for grounded, realistic, technical analysis. And those of you that are interested in free cash to trade with, these exchanges linked at the top of the description are going to give you a ton of free cash to trade with when you get signed up and you start trading using these links. All you've got to do is just start trading and they'll give you that free cash. You can throw it anywhere you like, any profits you ought to keep. Only if you're not from a restricted region, of course. Check them all out. Really, really cool offers indeed. But let's tie it back to Bitcoin's market cycle right now. And what we're going to see super, super clearly is that this market cycle has not seen any significant pullbacks yet. Okay, so we've seen minus 20, minus 20. What was this? This was minus 20. This was the biggest one we've seen so far. This was minus 31. Actually, it was a little bit more than that. Let me draw that properly. This was minus 32. And again, so far, we are... it's kind of silly, right? We're down... This is not the current chart. We're down to about 78K. So we're down by about 28%, okay? I think I made my point clear, ladies and gents. I don't know. You tell me. Did I make my point clear? We got 600 viewers in the house, ladies and gents. So we can get this up to 250 likes. We'll start showing you guys some secret charts. How about that? Make a deal. You guys like that deal? We get this thing up to 250 likes. I'll start showing you guys some really, really cool charts that, to be honest, I don't really like showing to a lot of people. But but I'll be nice. We'll see. We'll see. But smash them up if you are enjoying this one so far. What we can see, ladies and gents, very, very clearly is that inside of every single bull market that Bitcoin has ever had, we've gone through all of the price history. Inside of every single bull market that Bitcoin has ever had, we've always had corrections that are 40, 50%, and we've pretty much always had multiple of them. So this is the first bull market that hasn't done it yet. And I just don't think, what does this say? Yeah, these were the last 2 months. I was quoting somebody saying something stupid about the markets. We need this wisdom. Absolutely, DJ Kickflip. That is exactly what we're bringing right here on this YouTube channel. It really is, the take that nobody is talking about. Why? Probably because nobody you're watching is actually a fucking trader. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they are actually traders. I honestly don't fucking know. But clearly, we need to pull off, quite sizable corrections inside of our bull markets. And if we don't, then, it's one of two things. If this time we don't do it, then it's the first time in Bitcoin's history ever that it doesn't happen. And you might be comfortable making statements like that, but I'm not. I'm not really in the business of saying that we're doing things for the first time ever. I mean, I get it. There's nuance. Obviously it does happen. But I do think that it's still quite overwhelmingly likely. Sorry, I'm just messing with some cables right here. I do think that it's quite overwhelmingly likely, though, that we... That we continue that trend at least in some way, right? Like it wouldn't make sense to me if we don't or if we can't continue with these kind of significant pullbacks inside of bull markets. By the way, let me show you what some of the key levels are. Minus 72K, which is one of my favorite levels for Bitcoin to drop down to. That's gonna be a minus 33% drop. Okay, down to 68K, which is my second favorite level for Bitcoin, 67 actually. That's gonna be a minus 39% drop. So this is perfectly on target right now for Bitcoin's best support level on its chart, more or less. And I want to show that to you. Let's take a fixed range point of control and draw this from the beginning of the bull market to the end. I'm sorry, to where we are right now. I'm not going to say that this is the end of the bull market. And if we take this approach, our value area high sits at about 61K. So it's in the same price range. I said 68, 61. It's a little bit far off. And if we measure it probably from around over here, we're going to get a much clearer image where all of this resistance, all of this support really starts to spike at $68,000. Obviously, on the other side here, there's absolutely no support from, 96K down to 68. And again, this is something, I've been saying this for weeks. I need you guys to drop it in the live chat. Tell me I remember in the live chat if you remember me saying this constantly. I was constantly saying it. Let me know in the live chat. I want to know how many of you guys were actually here. Because otherwise my job's not fucking worth it. Like, what am I here for if you guys aren't even hearing this shit before it even happens, right? Like the reason that this channel is the best on YouTube is because we call this shit in advance, right? So if nobody's hearing about it, then maybe I'm not doing my job properly. I don't know, but yeah, we had a lot of support up here and no support until we get, into the high 60s, low 70s. Okay, we already knew this. So that explains why we're seeing such significant price action right now. That's why I said kind of toward the beginning of the live stream, if we take a look at this chart in terms of levels, we just try to understand that my Bitcoin chart is gone. Hang on, where's the bitstamp one? It's right here. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like I said, I'll give you the panic down to here. If you want to panic, if you want to like lose your mind over the markets, then be my guest. Not my fucking business. But if you want to feel like shit, then okay, this makes sense. But from here down to here, if this surprises you, then clearly you're just gambling with your money because you should have known this. Okay, you've been watching my YouTube channel, so you knew it from me, and if you still didn't get it, then I don't know what to say to you. And if you didn't watch this YouTube channel, then what it means is that you just don't know what the hell's going on in the market. So it still means that you're gambling. It still means that you're honestly, like, I've been doing this for 8 fucking years. All right, I've worked with a lot of different people in these markets, and the number one reason that people lose money is because they're just grossly irresponsible with how they treat their money and where they deploy their money, and the level of effort and commitment that they put into the market. People expect to put minimum wage effort into this market and get millions out of it. Quote me on that shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, people expect to put minimum wage effort into this shit, you know, not really understanding what's going on, learning analysis from shit posters, you know, only subscribing to people or following people that, you know, tell them the narrative that they want to believe. Like, what do you expect? Obviously, this is going to catch you by surprise if you're taking every single wrong approach consistently in this market. I'm talking about you. Yes, sir, I am. I am talking about you. You're damn right. And this is your wake-up call, right? You either quit or you wake up at this point, right? Or you can not wake up and then just keep on losing money like what most people do. But, you know, the two good options are that you quit or you wake up. And if you quit, honestly, that's a good choice for a lot of people. I really do mean that. I really do mean that. If you want to quit, then just quit. You'll probably save yourself a lot of money. And if you don't want to quit, if you're crazy enough to not want to quit, then, you know, welcome. Welcome. You know, it's gonna suck a little bit, but you know, this is what we're here for. Smash up the like so far, ladies and gents, if you are enjoying this live stream so far. And if you're just tuning in, I need you to rewind this stream basically to the beginning, but at least rewind it by, you know, about 5-10 minutes. Minimum rewind it by like 10-15 minutes because I want you to really understand the point I just made, and I don't want to repeat it either. So thank you all for showing your support on this live stream, by the way. We get this thing up to 250 likes. I'll show you guys some pretty cool charts that I don't usually show on stream. But this should quell your concerns about Bitcoin dropping inside of this range, okay? We just shouldn't be surprised by it because there is no resistance established on the way up. And naturally, there's no support on the way down. Quite frankly, it's almost a miracle that we even bounced where we did. I think that perhaps the only reason that we did was because of the moving averages. Let me just double check that. Yeah, so we had the 200-day right here, and let's check what we got on the weekly. We might have had the 50-week. I don't know. Let's see what we had. Yeah, we got the 50-week moving average down here. So, you know, these moving averages are kind of like the only, and there's going to be some other like weird fringe indicators you can use. Like there's, you know, even consistent tools that I actually love, like the Fibonacci retracement. You know, it perfectly predicted a bounce at the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level, which is completely unreasonable in my books to expect a bounce from, at least compared to, you know, the 618 levels and the 382 levels. The 0.5, you know, is significantly less reliable in my experience. Again, you know, I'm not speaking for everybody or for you. I'm speaking for myself. You know, 0.5 is just not one of the most consistent levels. And so, you know, weird random stuff will be predicting bounces in this range. I've said this already, and I don't know how many of you guys actually told me that you remember. I don't know, but let me see. I don't actually. Yeah, we had a few people saying that they remember. Yeah, a few people saying that they were here. Yeah. We got Chen saying that I'm so accurate. Thank you very, very much. GeoRider spot on. The chart tells all. Absolutely. And we're just getting started, by the way. Like, if you think that this is useful so far, wait for the next like 5, 10, 15 minutes. I got a couple more big points I'm going to make with you, and I'm going to make them thoroughly so that you get it. You know, and we're just starting here. We're just starting here because we haven't even gotten to any of the most important stuff yet. Believe it or not, we're talking about some really important shit, and this is nowhere near where we're taking it in this live stream. 𝐁𝐥𝐴1 is saying that you wake up by selling while you still can. Look, I'm not saying waking up means you take a particular trade or you do a particular thing. In this context, the way I'm talking, waking up simply means that you see the market for what it is, rather than, you know, I don't know, like just being on this weird fucking emotional roller coaster of emotions, you know? Like, I'm saying get off that roller coaster and then do whatever the hell you like. Yeah, I don't really care, and it doesn't matter whether you buy or sell. What I do care about is that whatever decision you make it when you're sober. okay? Not when you are intoxicated with fear, okay? Not when your shitty Discord and Telegram groups and WhatsApp group chats and iMessage group chats are telling you that everything is dying. I don't care what the masses have to say. And if you're here, then perhaps neither should you. How much was I liquidated for? Haven't been liquidated in, I don't know, probably years. I don't think I've been liquidated in years. The best technical analysis on YouTube, you already know it, mate. You already know it. What will XRP do in the next few weeks? Probably whatever Bitcoin's going to do. Let's continue on here. So we're talking about Bitcoin and where it might drop. We've got a really nice level right here. Now, also, while we're on the Fibonacci, look at how beautiful it lines up. Look at how beautifully it lines up with the same range we were talking about, right? Like, I do firmly believe that the best zone for Bitcoin to find a bottom is going to be down here. I have been saying it for a very long time, and, you know, it's continuing to be proven true. Shout out to Bill Brower. What's up, man? Welcome to the live stream. A couple people sometimes think that this isn't live, but you know, it is definitely. Sammy and Tyler Hill are the best on YouTube. Thank you very much. Haven't heard of Tyler. If he's good, I'll definitely check him out. All right, we got some spammers here. I don't know if I can moderate these spammers, I'll be honest. It's just me. Yo, if we got any moderators in the chat, please. Oh man, they've just hijacked it. Wow, I don't know if I can do anything about this. If we have any moderators in the chat, then please help me out. I'm going to get back to the live stream for a minute because this chat's not usable. 0.5 Fibonacci, like I said, I don't really think that makes sense. But the 618 here I think is absolutely fantastic. And we've got, you know, a lot of confluence building in that range. We've also, by the way, got the weekly EMA ribbon down there, right? Have we? No, we don't. Okay, well, that's not good. That's not good. But we have lost it a couple of times. This doesn't really count. Yeah, you've got a little bit of tolerance. It would work, right? Like my 68K idea, it would definitely work. 10% down. What's that going to be? Yeah, I mean, there's definitely headroom for it, or I should say footroom for it, but it's definitely not amazing. We got a question for Ethereum. Yep, don't worry. We will be talking about Ethereum in just a minute. Do you know what I'm going to do, guys? Is I'm just going to add this. It's crazy. These fucking degenerates, man. Like, just this crypto space is just full of fucking dirty degenerates. They just spam and scam and shameless. I hate it. I hate it. They've single-handedly, collectively, not really single-handedly, ruined the entire crypto space. The scammers here, they've ruined it. They've killed it. There's nothing left. Crypto's not like, yeah, it's bullish. Like, yeah, I think we're gonna go way higher, but there's no crypto left. You know, like there's no Bitcoin left. It's all, yeah, like Trump pumps, manipulation. You know, like I made a tweet about this. We'll get into my Twitter shit posting in a little bit. But, yeah, 𝐂𝐿𝐺𝐿𝐴, you know, like, I was here back in 2017, man. Like, it was just a bunch of, like, weird computer programmers and nerds and geeks and a couple speculators, and I miss that shit, man. Like, I met a dude, it went weird, but I met a dude, and I think he lived in, he was Danish. He was in London. You know, and he was just like your underground type. You know, I was like, you're the guys that hang out with 4chan, aren't you? But he was a cool guy, you know? Like, now it's like fucking scammers with their shitty fucking Rolexes, flexing on Instagram, scamming people, and then flexing the private jet. Oh my god. Okay. Let's not go into it. Let's not go into it. But, we'll continue on here. So, Beautiful reasons, I think, to kind of come down to 68. It's the same stuff we were discussing before, but hopefully it feels a little bit less surprising now. Another big thing I want to discuss with you is going to be this beautiful fear and greed index. You know, we are sitting now at 20, but this is going to update in a few hours, and it's probably going to get pretty bad. So definitely do keep that in mind as we continue on. If we do look at this on a 3-month time frame, you know, clearly sentiment has taken a shit and it stayed quite low. We bottomed at 10, then we saw 15. I think we're probably heading back down toward 10. We'll see. Maybe we'll still be live in 4 hours. I don't think so, but you know, if I need to go live again, I will definitely do that again. And you guys can just check it out by staying subscribed to the YouTube channel and checking that bell icon and all of that good stuff. But yeah, very, very low sentiment levels here. And and I think that this is really kind of being amplified by what's happening in the S&P 500, which we're going to be talking about quite a bit in this live stream here. We got 34 minutes until the S&P closes, so we'll keep on watching this as we continue on in this live stream. And by the way, I do just want to show you, this is a really big bounce that the S&P 500 has just pulled off. Bitcoin is not following. So Bitcoin did dump with the S&P, but Bitcoin has not recovered with it. So that's a bit of a shame. Let's take a look at Bitcoin right here on the 5-minute alongside the S&P 500. Do it on the 1 minute. And I just want to see kind of what this looks like. So the S&P started its bounce over here. So literally exactly in the same minute that Bitcoin did. You know, if you guys, if anybody watching this live stream right now still doesn't get it, you will get it after these next few minutes. And hopefully you'll never lose it again. We've got phenomenal correlations happening here between Bitcoin and the S&P 500. The S&P 500 has recovered all of its dumps from the last 2 hours, and Bitcoin also from the last 2 hours. So actually, yeah, they're tracing each other very, very well. Because we don't want to look at percentage drops, right? Like if we measure it from this high, which was set at the same time on both. By the way, these are the same chart. Can you guys tell? Can you guys tell that this is the same chart? Let's ban these scammers again real quick. What I'm gonna do, is I'm just gonna really quickly throw this keyword in the I don't even know if this is how it works, but here, just bear with while I take care of this stuff. It sucks that this have to happen, but anyway, smash up the likes anyway if you do find it useful, this live stream, and bear with me. We are done. So let's see if that stops the spammers. But yeah, I hope that all kind of made sense. Just the really very, very clear correlation that the S&P and Bitcoin have. I've just hidden my face cam so you can see that a little bit more clearly. And if we look further back at this, it's just, I mean, look, from peak to peak, like here's a Bitcoin peak, here's an S&P 500 peak, we got S&P on the left and Bitcoin on the right. And logically this makes complete sense because, I mean, it's just crazy. Look at how perfect it is. It's actually insane. And we know why this happens, right? We know that this happens because, now the money that moves risk on markets is the same money that moves they're all risk on, but the money that moves crypto is the same money that moves traditional finance, right? That's what we know now. And that's why we see this correlation, okay? So if we see this correlation, then what that's going to tell us is clearly, if you're struggling to understand what Bitcoin does, or maybe Bitcoin looks a little bit scary, or anything in between, or not even any of those statements that I made, regardless of what the case is, I think a logical man or woman would be led to assume that the price action that we're seeing on the S&P 500 right now is going to be indicative of what happens to Bitcoin. And in other words, if the S&P 500 starts performing very well again, that is probably going to do very well for Bitcoin, okay? So I think with all of that in mind, we're actually looking like we're in a pretty good place in this market, because if the S&P 500 is going to die, then okay, we have a bit of a problem. But if the S&P 500 isn't going to die, then, we probably have a recovery looming for Bitcoin. And oftentimes, it's going to be a recovery that you can't really expect. Because it's not Bitcoin or Bitcoin's chart or Bitcoin's fundamentals or Bitcoin's bullish or bearish hypotheses, whatever the word is. It's not any of those things that actually determines whether Bitcoin moves up or down. It's just the S&P 500. So now you will have a very firm understanding of that with me. But if you don't, and if you need a little bit more convincing, then no problem. Let's do that. Let's take a look at some of the lows that the S&P 500 set and trace this beautiful pink line telling us what Bitcoin is doing to show us that we are perfectly bottoming out and topping out at the same times. Now, we're not moving in the same direction all the time, right? Sometimes we're directionally moving differently, but the timing of our peaks and the timing of our bottoms are still the same. So that's a really, really important thing for us to keep in mind, right? Bitcoin may be weaker than the S&P 500, but it will still move in the same directions as the S&P 500 on these shorter time frames, and of course on the longer time frames as well, because when the S&P really, really shot up, Bitcoin lagged behind over here, but it exceeded over here. So there are exceptions to this, and like with all rules, you are not smart if you point out the exceptions. You're actually probably more stupid than everybody else in the room, yeah, because you can't understand nuance. So don't be that guy, and understand that when the S&P 500 moves in any particular direction, most of the time Bitcoin does the same thing. And in this case, where Bitcoin was lagging behind a little bit, it does tend to catch up. Really, really important stuff for us to be kind of monitoring right now. Only 20 more likes for Sammy's secret charts. There you go. Smash them up, ladies and gents, if you are excited. Let me know how you are feeling in this live stream today. If you haven't done so already, where are you watching from and how are you feeling? Somebody recommended me to put this in slow mode for the live chat, and I do not know how. But I'm sure that it's quite straightforward. So let me see if I can figure this out. Oh, I can start a Q&A. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'll try that in a minute. Let me just do that right now. Drop your Qs. If you got a question you want me to kind of answer, Bitcoin related only, BTC, SP 500, majors only. If you got a question that kind of meets that criteria, drop it in the Q&A, and we'll take a look at that. And let me just find out where this slow mode is. That's quite obvious. Thanks for that suggestion. I might not find it. Oh, I found it. That was easy. Okay. Nice and easy. We got slow mode turned on now. So I will be monitoring that a little bit better. Do I think the larger market dump was somewhat intentional in order for US to refinance debt at lower rates? And is it easier to and then it's easier to argue for additional rate cuts and ending QT? Okay, Bill, that's a big question. And I'm not researched enough on the topic to answer that properly for you. What I will say, because I was considering the exact same questions earlier, is I don't want to ground my technical analysis in rumors and speculation, especially about anything that comes out of this government. I don't think that analyzing this government and what it wants to do is a safe or healthy thing for most people. I think some people will get it. I think insiders will get it very, very well. And I think that, others who really, really are in tune with the world will get it. But I don't know if I'm in tune with it enough to, kind of decide or make confident predictions about what I think this federal government will do. And for that reason, because I tried, right? But then the tariffs come and go, and, then it's something else. And I don't want to say it's intentional from Trump and his team. It might be, I don't know. But clearly it's not working. So I don't really, and then the biggest part of my answer to your question is the technicals are telling me, a particular story that will fit in with really both ideas, whether what you're saying, Bill, is true or not. Both of those things could happen, with the technical outlook I'm going to tell you. So it doesn't really matter to me either. But let's talk about that for a minute here. And we can dive into the specifics of your question, but right now I want to keep it locked to TA and really cover all of the important stuff that I have to cover with you guys in this live stream. So we've kind of covered this Bitcoin correlation. We understand very, very well why this correlation exists. And if we now bring this over to what the S&P 500 is doing, we can see that, and by the way, we've still got, a little bit of time. So clearly, in these last minutes of the S&P 500 session today, it is Monday, right? We are getting some, last minute kind of volatility here that's really kind of changing what this daily candle is going to close like. I think that if this daily candle does manage to close anywhere in or above this green box that it's at right now, which sits at about what is this? This is a 50. This is 5640 down to 5600. I think anywhere kind of here would be nice for the S&P to kind of bottom out at for today's candle. It definitely would be something that, kind of looks manageable. If it doesn't, that's also fine, but it probably would imply, a little bit more heavy downside tomorrow. But yeah, this is a support zone, and below it we have more support zones that are pretty clearly marked out. I think that the S&P 500's best support zone, of course, is going to be the previous all-time high, which still actually remains untested. That's going to be a 21% drop, and classic kind of traditional finance definitions of a bear market for the S&P 500 will be met at a 20% drop. Okay, so 20% drop, depending on who you ask and who's defining it, a 20% drop will be the reason that you might see people calling for the S&P now being in a bear market. But it also doesn't tend to drop significantly further than 25%. Let's take a very quick look at this before we continue and look at some of the biggest drops that we've had here. So this is going to be the '08 crash right here. This was pretty bad. I don't really know how that was even possible, but I mean, 50% for the S&P 500 just seems crazy to me. We are due, right? Like, I think the doom and gloom people will tell you that we're due, but they also told you that we were due over here. They also said that we were due over here, and they also said that we were due over here and over here, especially over here. So, I don't really want to listen to the pessimists in that case, but they could be right, and actually the way that it works when they are right is that everybody piles on the bullish side and people don't really see it coming. And, basically when everybody is saying bullish stuff like me, that's when, while the market is dropping, that's when you know that we're in trouble, right? But it's very much the opposite. Absolutely nobody is saying anything bullish about the markets right now. And we're seeing shorts line up with that, by the way. I don't know if open interest has started to move up yet. But if it hasn't done so yet, it certainly will do very, very soon. Yeah, it hasn't done so yet, but we have been seeing CVD come down a lot, heavily implying that whatever is happening is going to be majority kind of short trading, right? CVD is coming lower. So when this comes down, that basically means there are kind of more shorts than longs entering the market. Okay, so I think that this is going to result in quite an extreme reaction on the opposite side, if we continue to see everybody piling on in this super, super negative direction. It would be unusual if it didn't happen, in the same way that it would be unusual if Bitcoin doesn't manage to pull off where's my Bitcoin chart now? This is getting annoying. If Bitcoin doesn't manage to pull off a 40 or 50% correction inside of this bull market, right? Because I'm still not saying that the bull market is over. Another point that I want to make, I didn't really make this point yet, is, we've actually seen a much worse drop already. This drop took 142 days to form, which is very different to what we've seen so far, and I'll explain why in a second. And it took Bitcoin down by minus 32.5%. And might I remind you, ladies and gents, that the first 8%, 9% of that was recovered on the same day, and most of that drop, or maybe half of that drop, was recovered within 3 days or 4 days. So, or 5, but very, very quick. The panic that would have happened down here, really would have been bad for your health and bad for your wallet. Now, the reason that it's different here is that we really only kind of initiated the drop from this all-time high, right? So if we measure it from this all-time high to where we are today, first of all, it's taken a lot less time, right? 140 days compared to 50 days, a lot less time. Second of all, we're not down by as much. So by both of those kind of measures, we are clearly not doing anything near as extreme as what we had last time, because it's not actually the percentage drops that hurt us. And I think we know this very, very well, right? I don't know how many of you guys were here back when, for example, this drop happened, right? Or it's probably even happened during this market. Actually, it hasn't. That's the problem. But, it happens inside of market cycles quite often where, you get a fairly significant, this was a 20% in one day. We're down by 28% today, right? Like, overall from the all-time high. So 28% feels horrible, but it took 50 days. Now imagine 20% in one day. And what we'll understand from this is that while it does get scary and it does definitely, I think, influence people to, doubt themselves or whatever the case may be in these markets, ultimately, if the price drops, but it doesn't take too much time, that's not actually, going to upset people very much. On the flip side, when you get a drop which is slightly bigger, 20% and now 30%, so it's 50% bigger, but when you get a drop which is, in absolute terms slightly bigger, what really hurts is the time it takes to break that high. Yeah, which in this case was 30 days. In this case, you guys are going to remember this one. This was, 70 days. So I think that's going to be one of the factors that's actually much more important is, just kind of keeping in mind that it's time which hurts us, not price drops. So this was way worse than what we saw in terms of time and price. And yet the reactions to this, which is a smaller drop and much quicker drop, and obviously most of that drop would have only happened kind of since here, so only about 10 days, I think that this reaction is kind of being blown out of proportion. Now, it's the same thing for the S&P 500, right? We've established earlier on in this live stream just how critical that correlation between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin actually is. And I think one of the big notes that we can make on this, on that same note, is the S&P 500 is only down by 9.3% from its all-time high. And that's a really important, nice fact to ground ourselves with. Oh, we have hit 270 likes. You absolute legends. Good stuff. I do appreciate it. Those of you that have smashed them up, thank you very, very much. Badger, could I give you more strategies for taking profits near anticipated tops? Honestly, the best strategy for taking profits is having a clear set of rules where you take profits at non-negotiable levels. You can define those levels before you enter a trade, or you can just do it based on percent, right? When it hits 10%, you close something. When it hits 20, you close something. When it hits 30, you close something. That's what I do. I do the second approach. Actually, I do both. It depends. Trump is tanking the market so that he and the government gets in at lower prices than they would have at 98K. It could be. I don't think it's that simple, but it could be. 𝐁𝐥𝐸𝐧, it's over. You won't get rich quick. We are entering in recession and a war is coming. Russian and Chinese holders are selling. Sell while you still can. 72K now. We'll get down even more. There you go. He's bearish. You can tell. More Zarabi, I just finished reading Market Wizards. Great book. I can tell why you're so based, bro. It makes sense now. It's because you finished that book. I enjoyed it so much. Any other suggestions? Hell yeah. There's another one. It's called New Market Wizards. And then there's another one. And then there's Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. There's Trading Psychology by Dr. Van K. Tharp. Or by somebody else. I forgot. But if Van K. Tharp did books, then check him out. There's Technical Analysis of Financial Markets. That's a popular one, John Murphy. I don't know if you need that book, but it's still worth revisiting. Crypto King, I got smashed in a trade today. Any coins you're short in that you would recommend next? And by the way, those of you that want the books, they're linked in the description. The two books that I recommend the most, these two right here. Market Wizards is the one that our absolute legend in the live chat was commenting about. Check it out. Really, really, really good book. This is like 700 people here. Should I really be spilling my secrets like this? I mean, who actually visits these links, right? Who actually visits these links all the way at the bottom? Probably only happens when I talk about it. But yeah, it doesn't matter. It does. One of the people are surprised by why I'm so open on this YouTube channel. One of the reasons that I really just hold nothing back and I say everything on my mind, and I don't really worry about like saying my secrets or whatever, is because it's really hard to do it. Like it's really hard to have the balls to do it. And I don't know, like at that point, if you still kind of if you still have an opportunity to kind of be based, then you've earned it. I think the way that I see it. We got a comment saying that the stream is skipping a little bit. Do we have any lag in the stream? Can anyone tell me? If we have a few more reports, I'll try to do something about it. But otherwise, it might just be on your side. But please let me know in the live chat if you can see this stream properly. While you are down here in the description, ladies and gents, obviously the best exchanges in the game going to be right here. Bybit, linked in the description. By the way, when you're a VIP member on Bybit, you get the Bybit card, which is really, really cool. And you can spend that anywhere in the world. It's a Visa or MasterCard, something like that. So Really, really cool stuff. Like I said, all you got to do is just, sign up and start trading to take advantage of those huge bonuses. They'll deposit money in your account and you can trade with that money. And if you lose it, then it's not your loss. And if you make money with it, you can withdraw. So really, really cool stuff. Blowfin is doing the same thing. They're a great alternative to Bybit. I don't know why. Oh, there we go. Great alternative to Bybit. Check them out. But obviously, only if you're not from a restricted region. You got to check your own country's local laws and regulations. Really, really cool stuff there. We'll come back to the charts here for just a minute. 300 likes. You absolute legend. Smashed through it. Smashed through 300. Let's see. I did promise you some really special charts, and we will be looking at them in just a moment. No lag, but we can't hear, and you're an inch away from the mic. Are you serious? You can't hear me? I don't believe it. Last time someone told me that you can't hear me, I ended up turning my microphone too loud, and then people got upset. I don't want to do that again. I'd rather be a little bit too quiet than a little bit too loud. I'm stressed, but your analysis and calm mentality about the market ups and downs helps to alleviate the pain. Much love. Well, you're very, very welcome, sir. James, that is exactly what we're here on this YouTube channel for. It is exactly to bring that energy to the crypto space. Obviously not for everybody. If everybody thought like you and me, then we wouldn't be making any money. But not everybody is going to watch this YouTube channel because they want opium. They want hopium, actually, more specifically. And that is one thing you'll never find on this YouTube channel. We just don't do emotions like that, okay? We do profits, we don't do emotions. So that's how this works around here. And if that sounds good to you, then you already know where that beautiful subscribe button is. Okay, let's continue on here. So, the point I was making, 9.3% drop on the S&P 500, probably, maybe a touch more than that. What is it actually? Yeah, 9.4, it's no difference. And I think that this really tells us everything that we need to know about how people are feeling in this market, right? Like if you live under a rock and you don't go on Twitter and you don't have friends in your group chats talking about the markets, and you're just based basically. If you're like Morzarabi in the live chat, or a couple of the other legends, GeoRide, or a couple of the other big fucking legends in this live chat that tune in regularly, that get it, if you're like one of these guys or girls, then you will understand very, very well that it's a 10% drop and sentiment is getting blown out of proportion and people are overreacting. Everybody feels pain while the price goes up. Everybody feels pain while the price goes down. We are in an uptrend. Even though the S&P 500 has lost a couple of support levels, it is still in an uptrend. It hasn't broken any macro highs the way I would look at it. I think the first macro high is either here or probably more realistically down here at 5120, which is an entire 500 points away. I really don't think we're dropping down that low anytime soon, but who knows? I could be wrong. And even if we do, ladies and gents, the previous all-time high is 21% away. Okay, so for that kind of definition for the bear market to be triggered, we're only going to fall down to the best support level that we've got. So forgive me for not jumping on the bandwagon of being upset. Okay, if we've got such a clean chart overall, yeah, this is bad right now. We'll talk about the short-term stuff in a minute. But overall, if we've got such a clean chart, right, and if we've got things looking this good overall, you're just not going to catch me being bearish when we're only down 10% from the all-time high, when the fear and greed index is already at the floor, when Bitcoin has already dropped down by 30%, when everybody and their grandmother hates the market. I just don't think that it's the point where I should be concerned. You guys do whatever you like, you know the deal. But here on this YouTube channel, we don't do sensationalism, at least not in terms of our market psychology, and we are only interested in truth. And honestly being, based in these markets. Vo Williams. The issue is we can see the market reacting to real-time and quantifiable actions being made. It's not just nature. The fear is Trump will continue making bearish actions. I got something to say about Trump. I'm going to take a risk, but I'm going to take a risk by talking about this because it's YouTube and it's a fucking communist platform, but I'm going to do this anyway. Just bear with here. We're going to talk about this. And as we are carrying on in this stream, ladies and gents, if you are enjoying this stream, do me a favor and smash them up. Let's see if we can hit 500 likes. I'll do something special if we can hit 500 likes. We'll see. But right here, this is a post that the team and I put in Fourth Lies Gold earlier today. And it's about Trump. I think it's really important. and I'm going to read it all to you. And if your mind explodes because I'm talking about Trump, then please exit this YouTube channel now. There is a disclaimer at the bottom, but we're going to get there in chronological order because if you're emotional like that, you don't belong here anyway. But let's take a look at this beautiful post here. By the way, this Telegram channel is the only place that I posted this, and I don't know what the hell's happening now. Why is everything so weird today? It's the only place that this was posted, and this Telegram channel is completely free of charge. You can join by following this link in the description below. While you're down here, anyone that's interested in a highly exclusive one-to-one program, we've got something crazy for you. It is expensive. It's very serious, but it has been a transformative program for everybody that's been inside of it. Not a single person that's been inside of it has not paid off their entry fee. Not a single person. And that, I think, is something that I'm definitely very, very proud of. If you guys want to kind of get details on it, you can reach out using this link in the description, and a member of the team will get back to you. But Telegram channel here, completely free of charge. And if we take a look at what was posted here, these are the trades I was showing you guys, right? Like the huge profits that I was in. I mean, this is way outdated now. This is more like, 2,500% profit. So pretty cool. I'd save here is probably like, I don't know, 1,000 or something. TRX doesn't actually move down that much, does it? Just taking a quick little detour here. TRX, it's still sitting at 22. It's like, how is it so strong? Let's look at TRX BTC. I'm still in this position. Look at this. It's going up. It's like probably one of the only things going up right now against Bitcoin. But this Telegram post here, let me read it out loud for you guys. Really, really important stuff here, I think. So here I'm talking about Trump. He has been shot at, politically persecuted, etc., etc. I believe that in the worst case scenario for this year, he simply cares less about approval ratings, stock market health, etc., etc. And he said this himself, that he doesn't even check the stock market. And we all know that this is the only attitude that can reasonably introduce long-term positive change in an economy. Now, I think this is going to be one of the more difficult to digest parts of what I wrote, but I hope that it makes sense. Essentially, what I'm saying here is, if you're really soft, in fact, we'll get there. I think the fact that there's a president who's doing the obvious stuff, introducing tariffs, lowering taxes, deregulating the country, it will look like a very obvious setup for us to make huge gains down the road. Because when you get stuff like this happening, you stimulate the economy. It's pretty clear, okay? You can't stimulate the economy with fake dollars. And if you don't believe me somehow, then just look back at the last 5 years, and especially at the Biden administration, and ask yourself if that worked. Right? Because we basically have the polar opposite approach right now. So, and he's got 4 years, you're damn right. I mean, it's been 2 months, 1 month, whatever, month and a half. I don't know. Everybody's acting like it's been an entire generation that this guy has been president. It's absolutely ridiculous. 4 years is a long time. You take a tough stance like this, it's hard to believe that 4 years later things are going to be looking bad. But we'll get there. We're continuing on. Tiptoeing and protecting financial interests instead of good policy that stings at the beginning results in uncommitted changes that don't do anything well in any direction. Right? So if you're weak, you're introducing weak policies, you're introducing things that don't work, you're not gonna benefit anybody particularly much, but you are probably gonna waste a lot of money. Being British, this reminds me a lot of Liz Truss. Britain couldn't take the heat, and globalists, funds, Bank of England, etc. crashed everything. The British pound, mortgage rates went up, everything went to shit to take her out of 10 Downing Street. It was a coordinated attempt at manipulating basically everything money related inside of the country, and it worked because they are indeed very, very powerful, and Liz Truss's policies were going to take power out of the hands of people who already had a lot of power, and we know how that works. That's not going to work. So they forced her out of 10 Downing Street, and it's the same path that the USA is on right now, and it's for the same reasons. It's similar policy, it's similar ideologies of policy that Liz Truss had. So it's triggering the same kind of thing. Now, the issue is that the UK couldn't see it through because they're a bunch of socialists, and they are, especially in government. They really are. Whether you got a conservative government or the Labour government, neither of them are conservative or right-wing or even center. Neither of them are center, believe it or not. But the USA is in way better standing. The USA has a more kind of balanced, believe it or not, I know it's crazy, right? But the USA has a more balanced political spectrum. And I think for that reason, and it's, the president is just stronger, right? The president of America has more power in America than the prime minister of the UK. So, he's just got a better chance at, I'm not increasing my volume, bro. I'm not turning it up again. Don't do that. So for the numbers, still watching the S&P 500, and that will give a good indication of where all risk on markets will be going. This is my opinion, of course. So far, this is still not a sizable correction in terms of percentage drop, only in terms of emotions. You guys love this post. It's all linked in the description down below. If you want to join the free 4Flights Gold channel, check it out. Like I said, when you are down there, if you want access to that beautiful one-to-one program, which we've had 100% success with and quite incredible success at that, then you can follow this link in the description to get a little bit of information on it. But yeah, really, really important stuff. And then the note at the bottom is I'm not the biggest fan of Trump, okay? On this YouTube channel, I've outwardly been calling out the corruption happening in his administration because it's so ridiculously obvious. I think it's absolutely crazy. There's a bunch of other issues. Trump is not Jesus. Trump is not your savior. But he's good. And he's a hell of a lot better than the alternatives. And his policy makes sense, right? Like I said, it'll sting a little bit at the beginning, but it makes sense. I'm interested in discussing policy and direction much more than I'm interested in personal opinions of people. This is a really, really good point that I want to end reading this Telegram post on, because a lot of people, they have it completely backwards. They tell me that they're here in crypto to make money, and then they cry about personal political opinions. That's not the way forward, right? We didn't even do it on this channel when it was Biden, okay? And we got two polar opposites. So hopefully you're learning something really, really important here if you're one of the people that are a little bit too emotionally charged. That's not going to make you money, okay? So you really need to decide, what do you want? What do you want out of this market? Do you want excitement? Do you want, peaks and troughs? Do you want euphoria and sadness? Or do you want money, okay? And if you want money, you're going to have to kind of step away from the emotions a little bit more. Curtis Rees, I'm British and I can guarantee we are the same way Americans are. I don't know what you mean by that, bro, but I completely disagree. I don't think Americans and Brits are that similar. I mean, there are a lot of ways that they are similar, but there are so many ways that they're different, man. There's so many ways that they're different. Don't blow my speakers out. Yeah, I won't. Don't worry about that. I won't. Trump is clueless, lazy. Yeah, maybe he is. He might be. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe the Americans know. I don't know. This is a good place for excitement. It's like I said. I mean, we can have our emotions, or we can choose not to have our emotions. It honestly doesn't matter. You see me get a little bit hyped up in the market, as long as you can kind of detach yourself and understand that Bitcoin is entertainment, I think you'll be okay. That's my take. But yeah, I think some really, really important points there being made. The biggest one that I want to repeat just for a minute is the fact that the S&P 500 is only down by 10%. Now, obviously, the knock-on effect of that, if we understand what's happening with the S&P 500, is that it's been massively led by tech stocks, and tech stocks are in a little bit of pain right now. We've got a minute left until this closes. So we're looking at the close right now for the S&P 500. And we've managed to fall down from the all-time high at 61.44 to a low of 55.66. So we've dropped down by how many points? Like 600 points, is that right? Yeah, we dropped down by about 600 points, and we're bottoming out in a support zone. So that's a good sign. It doesn't mean that we're going to go up, but I think it certainly increases the chances that tomorrow we do something a little bit like this rather than something like this. I think it does increase the chances, the fact that we are bottoming out right here. But we're actually moving right now. So, oh, no, we're not. Now, I do want to look at Tesla stock, okay? Because we've got a lot of kind of shock and dismay about what's happening with Tesla stock. And obviously, it's actually quite political, There's been, a lot of crazy stuff going on with Tesla. I'm not fully kind of in the loop with the news, but it looks like a big part of it was people kind of trashing Tesla stores. I think I saw, like, a bunch of police protecting it in Chicago, which was interesting. And what we're seeing with Tesla stock is quite a big rip down. I mean, it's more than halved, and it's taken, honestly, not even that long. But obviously, it's not the first time that that's happened, right? So minus 53% in 90 days, in 3 months, more or less. Here, we got minus 60%. It happens in 110 days. And that didn't end up going too badly for Tesla, okay? This, by the way, let's put this in perspective. This is January 2023, and this high was 372% up. Okay, so that's a 4.7 times gain from the low. So really, really important stuff, I think, mate. If you're watching this, if you're losing this, if you're not paying attention to this, really, really important stuff that we got to be keeping in mind. Which is simply that Tesla has swings like this, and it's actually kind of normal. So it's not something I would be too concerned about, and it makes sense why it's happening and where it's happening, because of course the S&P 500 itself is in trouble, and if we understand that tech stocks are what have been leading the S&P 500, then we can also understand that tech stocks will be the first to lose if the S&P kind of goes to shit. Additionally, to build on that point a little bit, the S&P 500 on this chart is going to be this beautiful pink line. Tesla stock is obviously the normal set of candlesticks. And what we can see if we just take a look at some of these interesting bits of price action is that over here, Tesla did have a little bit of unique price action where S&P continued going up, but Tesla didn't. And so this was an exception where actually they really lost that correlation. But of course, just like Bitcoin, Tesla did end up catching up on the next big leg that the S&P 500 took, which, for the S&P 500 was quite a big deal. For Tesla, it resulted in more than doubling. It actually pulled off a 3x gain, okay? So let's actually look at this very, very closely. S&P 500 went from 3820 to 4600, which was, what was this, 200 plus 600 points is like, I don't know, 25% up for the S&P 500. Tesla goes up by 200%. I think if you're saying nasty stuff about these markets, or you're really kind of, very, very bearish and you want other people to be bearish with you, I think that you really need a reality check at this stage in the market, because to me, it sounds quite silly. It might not matter what I think, to be honest. 500 likes, yeah, let's hit it. Thank you very much, Chris Hardwood, you absolute legend. Let's smash 500 likes if we can on this live stream, you legends. It's a sizable move for the S&P 500, but it's a ridiculous move for Tesla. So this kind of puts things into perspective of, like, look, you can be upset about this kind of move, right? Like minus 55% in 90 days. I get it. It's big, but you shouldn't be upset about it without first understanding the context of how this chart moves, because it's a little bit less concerning when you consider the fact that this chart does move in extreme ways. And it really does. It's really capable of it. I mean, this is, like I said, this is kind of January 2023. This takes us up to July of 2023. So only, 6-7 months, and Tesla manages to pull off a 3x gain. In fact, most of that, or the first like half of that really, really big move, the first 100% only happens within a month and a half or less. So, it really can make quite quick recoveries. And oftentimes it is these V-shaped drops. It is these drops that are quite extreme, which do end up getting met with quite significant buying pressure afterwards. It's actually quite rare that we have an exception to that. Sometimes the reaction is not extreme, right? The reaction might only take us like up to here, as opposed to like up to here. But it's still the same point. The point is that, these V-shaped corrections, even if you're going down, you do still get something like that typically. You can't really move down this much and then not have, sharp recoveries. It's quite rare that happens. Yeah, so I'm only talking about facts right now. You can be emotional if you want, but I'm only talking about facts right now. So that's Tesla stock, and that's how it relates to the S&P 500, right? The point ultimately is that if the S&P is down by a little bit, and we understand that tech stocks are carrying it, then reasonably we have to expect that tech stocks are getting hit pretty bad. Let's take a look at Apple really quick. Apple's looking pretty sweet. 12% down. Easy. Very, very calm. It looks like it's a political thing, doesn't it? Google from its all-time high, 20%. Sizable, but nothing crazy. Meta, what's Meta saying? Again, 18, 20%. Not bad at all. There's more that we can cover, but I think you kind of get the point. Let's look at Nvidia, though. Let's look at Amazon first. That's 20%. Nvidia is going to be interesting. What's Nvidia saying? 30%. Yeah, it's going to be one of the bigger losers. And it makes sense why, right? It was one of the things that rallied, particularly well. So I really don't think we're seeing anything surprising or concerning, from that perspective. And we've spent a lot of time covering how Bitcoin is very closely tied to the S&P 500 and how Bitcoin correlates very well with the S&P 500. We've spent a lot of time talking about that. And so naturally, I think it's looking pretty clear to me with all of these factors that we're just not seeing a particularly significant or scary kind of drop in the markets right now. Obviously, Bitcoin has dropped by 28%, which is a little bit more, uncomfortable than a 10% drop. But, Bitcoin is only at the mercy of the S&P 500, and I don't think that the S&P 500 looks that bad. Now, talking about the shorter term perspectives on the S&P 500, which I did promise we would look at. And speaking of promises, I am going to be covering that really, really cool series of charts with you guys in a moment. But not quite yet. I do want to cover a couple more things before we get there. We've already hit the like target, but if you are enjoying the stream so far, let's see if we can push this thing up to 500 likes. That would be absolutely sick. I'll have to think of something else cool to do if we do hit 500 likes. And we do have a Q&A running in the live chat as well. So let me just see if we have questions in there. Yeah, drop your questions in that Q&A. It's like somewhere at the top of the live chat. That'll guarantee that I see your question. I've never used that feature before, but if it works, it works. And I see that there are quite a few inquiries on Telegram already for various things. Obviously, if you guys are interested in a one-to-one program, that's going to be linked down here. And if you guys want that free cash to trade with, then that's going to be linked right here. All you got to do is start trading using these links in the description. I'll give you that free cash to trade with. Profits are yours to keep with that cash. Losses are not your problem. Very, very cool. Again, only if you're not from a restricted region. Check your country's local laws and regulations if you are allowed to use these platforms or not. Blowfin's a great alternative, of course, as well, but still only if it's allowed in your country. See what we got here in the live chat. Bullish divergence on a few time frames. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. But yeah, I think that's some those are some really, really important notes for this live stream here. Now, speaking of the S&P's kind of more short-term price action and where it could be going, look, I'll be honest, as far as kind of, really good support levels go, I do think that it's, less than ideal that, its best support level that I see is going to be 21% lower. I would have wanted this to happen sooner. I was hoping that it would actually happen on this drop. I don't know if you guys remember, I said it would happen here. Where it actually would have been very easy to digest, but it didn't end up happening. So what can you do? That's fine. We're not gonna cry over that. But yeah, 9% there, and yeah, I think on the flip side, if this thing does continue to drop, where we could bottom now, like I said, there are a couple of support levels I've outlined already. We've got 5,430. And we've got 5,300, as kind of rough ranges to bottom out at as well. We've got this low right here, which makes a little bit of sense, 5,120. And of course, 5,000 flat, is also a pretty good level for the S&P 500 to drop at. It's a hard chart to read, like it's not really easy to see where it can drop, and it is more of a political discussion. I'm sure that there are probably some indicators that really tell you a good story about where this thing could be going, but I don't know about them, and maybe I'm going wrong there. M2 global increase from 25th March. That's interesting, right? M2 is going to be something to do with the money supply, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not actually super familiar with what all of that stuff means, but maybe somebody can tell me in the live chat. I saw a projection for M2 very recently, which I thought was it's just one of those things that's like quite consistently correct. And that, I think, is what made me interested in it. You offset the M2 global money supply by 70 days. It correlates perfectly with Bitcoin. I think I saw that as well. Yeah, if someone could tell me what chart to pull up, I would really appreciate that, because I want to show viewers today what that means. And unfortunately, I'm a little bit out of bounds when it comes to... Yeah, I don't know when it comes to kind of analyzing this stuff. It's a technical and trading view, is it? Okay, well, let's look at Bitcoin then. And I will see if I can pull that up. Global liquidity index. That's probably it. It doesn't actually go into the future yet, though. But it tells us the story pretty clearly. we're basically seeing that before the drop happens, money supply starts dropping. Pretty well timed, huh? Pretty well timed. And it also confirms my theories that these rises that Bitcoin have are not actually as bullish as they look. You know, a lot of people think that this means a lot of buying pressure, but on this YouTube channel, you can see how balanced we are, by the way. Those of you that are new or not super familiar with this channel, you're getting a really good idea of how balanced and realistic we are on this YouTube channel. You know, one of the things I've said many, many times, and it applies to this bull market as well, and you're going to learn it very, very harshly when this bull market is over, you know, is that when Bitcoin moves up, typically it's not because a lot of people are buying, it's just because nobody is selling. And that distinction is really important because when people do start selling, you've got no chance. The market just cannot hold on. So I think that that's actually a really, really big deal in this market. Wow, we got some beautiful music playing right now, ladies and gents. I'm just playing like some background music. It's called Out of Sight by Mannequins on the 7th Street. This is quite a beautiful little track right here if anyone wants to listen to that. But yeah, I think that this proves, you know, if money supply is kind of going down, what does money supply mean? It's exactly what it sounds like, the supply of money. If it's going down, then, you know, that's going to be an indication that the market might be in a little bit of trouble. And, you know, now it's kind of going back up, right? And if this keeps on happening where it predicts shit that's going to happen basically, what was this, like an entire 2 months before, then that could be a pretty kind of crazy indication of where things could be going for right now. And to be honest, it did start about 2 months ago. So we could be close to the bottom, you know, if we're looking at kind of a repeat of what happened before. I'm not saying we are, but we certainly could be. Money supply was dropping throughout this time period. And it seems to be one of the things that was blocking Bitcoin from rising up. So actually, you know, a lot of this stuff is making sense. A lot of this stuff is making sense. Where did we top out at? So Bitcoin topped out over here. Money supply topped out over here. And this is where the bear market really intensified. Bitcoin should have started going up over here, but we had the FTX collapse. So the stock market did go up at this point. And I can overlay that on this chart. And you can see that when global money supply starts going up, so too does the S&P 500, but Bitcoin lags behind by a little bit. And that was because of FTX. So I think, you know, hopefully you guys will agree with me. We're kind of just looking at things that are very, very logical and sensible in this market. And the outcome of that is that we have some very sober, healthy, grounded analysis. Okay, so moving on a little bit here. Did I cut my hair yet? Cutest Girls is asking. No, I'm just styling it back. I don't know when or if I'll cut it. We'll see. It's obviously going to get cut eventually. I want to go back to normal hair because it's really annoying now, but I was also recommended to just kind of wait a little bit and it will get better. So I don't know. It's taking a lot longer than I thought my hair grows faster than this, but who knows? It doesn't, I guess. But yeah, so M2, very, very interesting indicator. This isn't even the main indicator I wanted to show you though. Let me see if I can find it because the one I wanted to show you actually goes into the future and I thought that was particularly interesting. No, I can't get it, so I don't know, but doesn't really matter. I think you understood the point. Carl the Moon, I remember he had so many longs. I mean, you know, it was a logical place to go long from at 90. I wasn't really feeling it, so I didn't do it, but I can understand why trader. I mean, I think we were in a situation where, yeah, Carl got destroyed on ETH. Yeah, but I mean, I think Ethereum's actually in a pretty good place right now. I really don't think Ethereum is going to keep dropping much more from here. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I've been right about Ethereum since we were like up here. I mean, like I sold all of my Ethereum on this move or this move. I can't remember. It was one of these. I sold all of it, and I told it publicly. By the way, you guys that were here, just go back and watch my YouTube channel around these days, and go back and just watch the channel, and you'll see that we kind of covered that pretty well. When Ethereum was down here, I was telling you that, you know, this is obviously going to drop. So basically, my Ethereum analysis has been 100% on point. I don't think there's a single thing I've gotten wrong at all on this entire chart since it topped out. I don't think a single thing was wrong. Not even one. I think actually I might have gotten this wrong. I was a little bit like, I could be wrong at this point because we had that deviation. That was the only time I got a little bit shaky with my GeoRider remembers. There you go. You legend, mate. You know, I was talking about it up there. I'm going to pin that comment, mate. You legend. Yeah. These are, you know, we've been here for a while. We really know what we're talking about. And you know, I don't think it's gonna. The hate has really intensified for Ethereum. Yet the price levels are abysmally low. So I just don't think that this can keep on going forever. And I think that we're actually looking pretty good right now. Let's take a look at this on a slightly cleaner chart, and I think what we're going to be able to point out here is. This is quite a sizable kind of support zone. Let's actually throw the fixed range volume profile on this, though. Do it from here to current price. All right, so point of control is a little bit lower. Not too low. But this would definitely line up with some sort of capitulation event. We're at one of the support levels right now, interestingly. So what I'm going to do is put a nice little box right there. Put another box right here. And those are going to be the two kind of interesting Ethereum levels in my book. If Ethereum bottoms out anywhere here or above, then it is still setting a macro higher high. Although we did lose this one, so that argument could be out of the window. If it loses this, then you also lose market structure. That starts looking pretty bad. But believe it or not, it doesn't look bad before that. In my books, and you got to be able to, kind of be ready to digest these things, right? I was telling you guys on the way up, like you're gonna end up coming back down, and you won't know how it happens, and it's gonna be so unpredictable and so hard to see coming. But if you just write it off like it's never gonna happen, then you're gonna get kicked in the face for it. And I think a lot of people are experiencing that right now. But and we covered this at the beginning of the video about how the market has massive liquidity gaps that basically nothing happens and the price just zips straight up or zips straight back down. In those price ranges, you can't have sky high expectations of what happens in the market. You're just gonna have to accept that sometimes it's gonna drop by quite a bit, and that's okay because your support levels are quite low. And if that kind of, makes you feel a little bit too scared, then you're probably just, not built for this market, to be honest. A fool says, yup, Sammy has been 1,000% right on Ethereum. Absolutely, 1,000% right. 1,000%. Couldn't be more correct, really. And I like Ethereum. Ethereum was my first ever crypto trade. I bought Bitcoin and then I went to Ethereum. That was my first ever trade. And I get it, I get Ethereum. I think it's almost like I'm married to Ethereum a little bit. I don't think Ethereum loves me back very much, but actually she loves me back. I've made a lot of money on Ethereum. What am I talking about? Ethereum loves me back. What am I talking about? Ethereum's waiting, man. She's just waiting in the rain at the bus stop. She wants to get picked up in the Ferrari. That's what Ethereum's doing right now. It's gonna happen. I don't think Ethereum's dying. I don't think so. Could be wrong. Who knows? You've seen my disclaimer. I'm an idiot. Don't be an idiot with me. Let's take a look at some of the other coins. And if you do have questions, please do drop them in the live chat now, and I will be going through them soon. We've got WIF falling off a cliff. We got Trump also falling off a cliff. Solana falling off a cliff. This was a long setup that I was kind of interested in, but I was like, I don't know, Solana's looking dangerous. So I didn't end up taking that, but it's now kind of at the bottom where its wicks kind of bottom out. Below this, Solana has supported about, kind of $80 and probably about 100, 105, 110 as well. A whiff cliff. Absolutely. Just in, Ukrainian President Zelensky apologizes to US President Trump for being disrespectful during his visit to the White House. That's interesting. Is that actually true? Can we get a fact check on that? We can check things out on Twitter as well in a little bit. Let me see if I can pull Twitter up real quick, because I do want to start kind of looking at a couple of things on Twitter right now. Bear with while I pull this up. Yeah. All right. So if I pull Twitter up on screen right here, I want to go through a little bit of kind of what's going on. I don't know if there's anything particularly interesting happening, but we will find out right here. Now there is another reason to bring manufacturing back to the United States. A lot of crypto millionaires are going to need jobs. Okay, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. He got us. He got us. Dear Kamala, I didn't know the price I'd pay for men not being allowed in women's sports would be all of my crypto and stock gains. Please accept my deepest apologies. I'll use whatever pronouns you want as long as my wealth stops going by the pronouns was were. Oh, man. That's fucking brilliant. I love Twitter, man. I love Twitter. What happens if you owe $3 million in taxes and have zero? I don't know. Probably wish that you were in Dubai. By the way, any of you guys that do want to set up in Dubai, you already know the deal, ladies and gents. You can reach out on my socials, reach out to me directly, and I can get you set up in the UAE. Nice and easy. I've set up a lot of big people, some people that you've already heard of for sure. And I can do it for you as well. If you wanna reach out, get some information on how that might work, you can reach out using these two links on screen. But bring it back to the beautiful Twitter real quick. What have we got right here? 1.75 trillion wiped from the US stock market today. Yeah, it's quite sizable. Eric Trump saying, I don't even know what date format that this is, man. This is the annoying thing about American dates. I'm guessing this was in March. Wait. I don't even know. No, this was in March. It had to be in March. I don't know. I'm not even going to bother. I'm 16 years old. I bought $19 of a meme coin at 97. Sold it for $5 profit. It recently hit $1 billion. I would have made $200,000, but instead I'm up with $5. You know, the interesting thing about this, I want to break down why this happens, because a lot of people, they just kind of like get upset, but maybe we don't fully understand what's happening here, but I will explain it. When people sell holdings of a coin, especially a shitty meme coin that's at a low market cap, those sells are gonna be what results in other people wanting to buy. So when people have these stories of like, I held $200 or something, I would have been worth $1 billion. The reason that the coin went up is because you sold. So in other words, if you didn't sell, the chance of it going up would have been lower. I'm not saying it would have been very low or slightly low. I don't know how low it would have been, but it would have been lower. And those of you that have kind of been in the trenches, you will understand what I'm saying. If you haven't been in the trenches, then obviously you might not get it. But also then it wouldn't be necessary. I don't know what the hell's going on my Twitter feed, man. I got anime girls on my shit right now. My entire net worth is in this man's hands. Have gone radio silent for some reason. I think they're talking about Vitalik. Clearly the market is wrong. Nibbling on hype and Sol down here. You know, I'm actually interested in what they look like right now. We've already looked at Solana, but what's hype looking like? Because hype is one of those coins that, like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe they paid a bunch of people, maybe not. I really don't know, but you know, it seems like one of those coins that's got a really strong narrative that, you know, people respect in the community. And especially the high integrity, you know, good reputation people, a lot of them are interested in hype. So that made me interested in hype. And it is at, you know, a phenomenal buy zone right now. It's kind of at the only buy zone that you have on the chart left as well. If it loses this level, it could get pretty bad for hype, but it doesn't seem to have dropped that badly. Let me just calculate this though. So $15, it's set a low, 11% down. It seems like it's kind of in line with the rest of the market. Seems like it is. Hang on, let me just double check how long this took. This was from the 10th. So, oh yeah, this is just earlier today. What am I talking about? 8 hours. If we look at what happened on Solana in the last 8 hours, 12%. Yeah, so it's kind of on par with some of the bigger coins. Yeah, but I think that's a good thing, right? Because hype is not one of these big coins. It's not as big. It's not even close, right? So if it's kind of like on par with some of these bigger coins, then that's a pretty good sign in my books. I don't really know anything about it. I just know that it's an exchange that's pretty well respected. And I don't know, it could be interesting. Could be, I don't know. Ask Zelensky where 306 billion Biden gave him is at. Well, we already know where a lot of that money is, and it's been spent on yachts and beautiful properties across the world and stuff, hasn't it? And you know, a little bit going to where it was supposed to, I suppose, you know, obviously, but we know how this works. When the government funds basically anything, it's probably not going to be done properly. Yeah, those of you that have reached out on Telegram, you'll have a member of the team reach back out relatively soon. You know, it really sucks when you don't have a relief bounce, but first of all, we bounced from 78 to 95. That's a 22% move, and it took 2 days. So that's a relief bounce. I just got a text from my analyst. Trump made history today. 9th largest daily drop in all of history. 9th largest is not that bad. Let me reply to him real quick. 9th largest is not that bad. And by the way, I'm live. I don't know if you've seen it. Just voice typing to him, so I don't have to spend too much time texting. You've been shouted out, bro. You absolute legend. I love the people on the team. Especially this guy. He's gonna do well. Looks to me that there is more downside to come. There could be. There absolutely could be. The relief bounce did happen, though. That's the first thing I want to point out. But what's interesting is that, you know, the last bear market didn't really have any relief bounces, though, did it? You know, if we look back at this, I mean, to be fair, this one was huge. But other than this one, if you caught this knife, you're up by 27. Otherwise, you're up by 13% at most. And that's kind of what happened, right? Like 13% over here. 10% over here. If you catch the knives, then, you know, you're going to make a little bit of money. But if you don't, 40% here was nice, but, you know, you're also now down by, you know, 73, and this 40% move only brings you up to a 63% loss. So, yeah, it was a pretty brutal, relentless bear market. And I do believe that if we do enter a bear market now, it could be similar. But like I said, we did get a relief bounce here. You know, we did get a 22% in 2 days. So, I look Indian. Yeah, I am half Indian. I'm half Indian and I'm half Pakistani. Awkward a little bit. But I've never been to either of those two countries. To be honest, don't really want to. Even the people that live in those countries told me I wouldn't like them. I don't know. Big sell-off. I like the West. I like Dubai. I think I'll keep it there. I heard that tomorrow Trump will disclose a cooperation with Putin. They will divide Ukraine in half. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. I wanted to see what's going on with Ukraine, and if that was true. But I don't know if I'm actually going to get real information on that right now. I think if it was real, we would probably raw dog your walks. Yeah, that's fair advice. I think if it was true, it would probably be all over my feed right now. Tesla shares are down over 15% in today's trading. 9 to 5 jobs looking bullish right now. I guess we're all just like laughing at ourselves, aren't we? Coinbase to hire 1,000 U.S. workers, saying President Trump breathed life back into the crypto industry. It's true. It's true. I mean, I don't think we see it yet, but I think we could see it later on. Russia says the UK is the main instigator of the conflict in Ukraine. Well, we know that's true because Boris Johnson did it. We know that already. That's quite clear. I don't know how people disagree with some of that stuff, but anyway, it looks like nothing really particularly interesting is going on Twitter. Just a bunch of shit posting right now. Asia actually pumped it today. US dumped it. I think it's gone like that quite a bit in these last days and weeks and months. I think that's something that I've noticed. Yeah, but I think from here I'm going to start taking questions and then call it a stream relatively soon. I will go through those charts that I promised. I'm going to do that right now. If you have enjoyed this live stream so far, then do me a favor and smash those likes up. You already know the deal. Let's see if we can get this to 500 before we close off. I don't know. It might be hard at this point, but let's see. It would be very, very cool indeed. And I want to show you a chart. Some of you have seen this before. Don't ruin it for those of you that haven't seen it. But please do not say what we're looking at. And I just want to get a vibe check real quick. I want you to tell me, are you feeling bullish or bearish? Nice and easy, okay? You feeling bullish or bearish? Just let me know in the live chat, and I will turn this back on in just 1 second. Also, don't look at the right-hand side of the screen. And what is this chart telling you? Is this chart telling you that that things are about to get quite bad, or that things are about to get quite good? You tell me what this is looking like. Is it looking like? And by the way, the time frame I'm asking for is going to be midterm, yeah. So basically, like, what happens by like this point in the future, yeah, the next few months or the next few weeks. That's kind of what I'm asking for. So I want to know. I want you guys to drop it in the live chat, and at the same time, I am also going to make a poll quickly. And I just want you to vote on this, in addition to leaving your comments. I'm going to be reading your comments anyway, but just want to see what the poll is saying as well. So we got a couple people saying this is bearish. Head and shoulders retest. Where's the head and shoulders? I don't really know what you're talking about. Uber bear. GeoRider knows the chart. There you go. It's going to roll over. David said it's going down. Lars says it looks like we lost support. Bear market. Blue is saying there's no real confirmation here. An easy name to remember is saying bull with ETH highs in summer this year. We got bear. It's inverse but looks bad. Notice chart, so I won't say shit. Making a lower high before going lower. Double upside down cups. Looks like it's going to consolidate for a couple of months to annoy everyone. That could definitely happen. Okay, so we got a slight majority saying that it's bearish in the poll. If you haven't voted in the poll, please do that now. And then I will end it shortly. But it looks like we do have a slight leaning toward this being a bearish chart. I think that's a pretty healthy poll overall. Let's just see if it changes. I want to get this up to 100 votes so I can kind of trust the data a little bit, especially since we got so many viewers. So if you haven't already, then please do vote. And I will definitely, we're talking midterm right now, not super short term, not super long term. What does this chart look like to you? Shaking of fear bull, gonna build the price action in the 70s. Definitely could happen. All right, yeah. So, we're about 57% bearish right now. Look, my take on this chart is pretty straightforward. I see a pretty consistent zone here. I don't know if I would draw it with this tool, or maybe I would draw it with this tool. Probably more accurate to draw it with this tool, but I'm not drawing it properly, so hang on. Yeah, this is kind of right? Something a little bit like this. Oh, wow. Well, that shows that we're kind of in resistance right now. That's interesting. That's really, really interesting. And then if we draw this out and make this a little bit more macro, we have a lot more room to drop, or I should say to rise. I think that this is interesting, right? Like, if you are kind of bullish on this chart, then, there's not a lot of room left. There's a few different ways you could redraw this, and I think you've got to play with this to kind of find what works best. And ultimately, you've also got to keep in mind that this is such a large time frame of analysis that we're covering right now. Like, this range, by the way, spans 1,400 days, so it's totally fine if it doesn't, if it's not like super, super exact, whatever we're seeing here. But if we just kind of draw a nice big yellow box indicating resistance, I think it's going to be really, really hard for this to get through this resistance zone. I just think there's too much confluence here. Let's take a look at a Fibonacci retracement as well. From this high down to the low, and our 618 sits right in the middle. I think we get the picture. The poll is at 113 votes, and it's 57% bearish, so it's a pretty even split. I think you can tell that I'm bearish on this. I really think that it's going to be quite hard for Bitcoin to get through this diagonal channel, to get through this horizontal level, to get through this Fibonacci resistance level. There's going to be a number of other tools as well indicating that there's going to be resistance in this chart, and many of you have already figured it out, but this is the inverse Bitcoin chart, and I think that ultimately, if you look at it from this perspective, it's actually pretty damn difficult to be bearish about the market. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, ladies and gents, if you find this analysis useful. This is exactly what we're all about. The market's going to be doing what it's doing, but you're not going to be panicking. I'm not going to be panicking, and we're going to be making some money out of this. That's the objective. That's what we're doing here, and that's what we do so well. That's what we do so well in this market. So smash up the likes for that if you haven't done so already. See if we can get it up to 500, and of course double check that you are subscribed if you haven't already as well, because a lot of you watch this channel regularly but you're not subscribed, and that means YouTube's not going to recommend it to you when it really matters the most. So do be careful about that. In 3 months a lot can happen. Absolutely 3 months is a really, really long time for these markets, especially right now. But as it stands right now, yeah, pretty clear resistance, I think, kind of forming up there. And I would expect it to kind of drop, and a lot of you have already figured out what this chart is. It's 53% saying bearish now. It's not really a secret chart, is it? But it's not something I cover often, because every time I cover it, the other shit munchers on YouTube start covering it too, and then it's less interesting, right? When everyone's looking at it. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they didn't get it from me, but I think it's awfully coincidental, So I don't know. And there are a lot of trends that we've set, but I'm just not like clickbait enough to get the audience for it. Believe it or not, that's kind of what it comes down to. But it's not even that I'm not clickbait enough. A bigger problem is that I don't tell viewers what they want to hear. It's really bad for business. It's really, really bad for business. Actually, that changed my perspective. Yeah, man. Did it change? Let me know in the live chat, ladies and gents, if it changed your perspective, even a little bit. Let me know, what that did for your, view on the chart. But obviously, to kind of tell you what this is, so that you could tell me if it changed your perspective, this is the inverted Bitcoin chart. Okay, so to help me make sense of this chart a little bit, this is going to be the low at $15,000. This is the previous high at $69,000. This is the high at $70,000, and then the subsequent range where we kind of traded down. This was the bottom at 50K. This is the big rally that we had, that empty liquidity gap that I was talking about. This is the $90,000 level. This is 108, and this is current price. So it's just inverted. It's upside down. And just let me know in the live chat if that kind of helped out a little bit. Maybe made some things make a little bit more sense, perhaps as well. Definitely let me know. Change Nothing was expecting a retest of 69K. Yeah, I mean, if you're expecting a retest of 69K, then you're obviously goated in terms of analysis, in my opinion, at least. But also, you won't need a perspective shift like this. But if you were previously panicking, which I don't know how many of you guys were realistically. I think a lot of you guys have probably been watching this channel for a while, and you just don't really, you feel a little bit more numb than that right now. But those of you who were panicking a little bit, I think, and I said this right at the beginning. What did I say at the beginning of the stream? I said, by the end of the stream, you're going to feel very good about the markets. That's what I said. And, yeah, I mean, I've always been right about this, haven't I? We were looking at the same chart when Bitcoin was up here, and I was saying that, it looks like it's going to break through the floor. Many of you guys kind of understood it when I made that analysis, but every poll was always 50%. It was always 50-50, interestingly. They definitely stole it from me. Yeah, of course they did. There's a lot that they've stolen, man. There's a lot that they've stolen, but that's completely fine. That's okay. It would suck if this was like my income, but I don't really want this to be kind of the main thing. The truth hurts most because they can't handle it. It's true, man. It's true. And that's why I think a lot of people don't watch this or can't watch this channel. What happens when Trump announces the end of the Ukraine war? I think it would be pretty bullish, looking at how people really don't like the war right now for the markets. Interestingly, the war didn't matter for the last 2 years. By the way, we're on this chart, right? The Ukraine war happened somewhere in 2022. I think it was late 2022, but I can't remember. Actually, it was February, right? It was February 2022. Am I right about that? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it kind of started around here. And, for most of that time, we've been trending up. I mean, in this case, we're trending down. But for most of that time, we've been trending up. So I don't think the world actually cares. I don't think the markets actually care about the Ukraine war. But lately, it's become a lot more kind of sensationalized in the media again. And I think because of that, we've been seeing a little bit of blood. I think it's really a collection. But ultimately, it's very clear that all of the reasons for these drops do point to Donald Trump. Or not all of them, but certainly most of them. And certainly most of the important reasons for the drop do point to Donald Trump. But I also made this post on Telegram about it, which if you're a little bit late to the stream, then please read this by pausing it. Or we can cover it again. Let me know if you want me to cover it again. Just let me know in the live chat. But I've already covered this. it was a bit of a risky thing for my team and I to kind of put out on the Telegram channel, but you know, I don't think we're particularly scared of censorship, and I think that truth is really, really important here. And it's a super reasonable post. You know, if you read through it, you'll get it. So so I think that's it. Ukraine doesn't care about the war. They've been fighting it for 4 years. I don't know. I don't want to make an opinion on that. At least not here on YouTube. But European markets will suffer if that happens. I don't know. I think everything will do well if the war ends. I really think that the way we're kind of headed, you know, there's going to be a singular event where a lot of these nasty things just switch off. You know, we've seen how this happened, right? There was the tweet about the strategic Bitcoin reserve, and I think that, you know, really sent this thing flying. That was on Truth Social. You know, so things can really change pretty quickly. All we have to do, to be honest, is recover above 90K. We have to close above 90K, and we have to backtest 90K, right? So something a little bit like this. As soon as you get that backtest, when you're up over here, we're pretty much, you know, guaranteed, I think, at that stage to start setting all-time highs, in my opinion, at least. I could be wrong. Been wrong before. But, yeah, you know the deal. You know the deal. Grandmaster Ape, I just tuned in on TV and I had to open the laptop to type this. I've been freaking out. Thanks for this. Really relieved me after a shit day. Hey, you're very, very welcome, sir. You're very, very welcome. I'm very glad that I could help out in that way. That's what we do here on this YouTube channel. A lot of people are going to be upset about the market, but you won't when you're done watching my live stream, and that's something you can reliably know. Even if the market is looking like shit, you just won't be upset about it when you're done with my stream, because opportunities lie everywhere, and there is certainly no shortage of opportunities right now. I mean, those of you that have taken that free cash available, linked in the description with Bybit and Blowfin, you know, you guys have probably been able to deploy that capital very, very well. I know a few of you that have done that, and shout out to those of you that have. Again, it's just free money. If you make money with it, you can withdraw it, but if you lose that money, then it wasn't yours to begin with. It doesn't matter, and all you've got to do to get that free cash is, just start trading using these two links here. And they will credit that in your account. Could take a couple of days sometimes, but it's usually pretty quick. And then obviously only if you're not from a restricted region. Did I cover the DXY? I have not. I will cover the DXY right now. The DXY has dropped by quite a bit, and I was surprised by this. You know, Trump is really the dollar first kind of mascot. But you know, it didn't work out for the dollar here. It has dropped by quite a bit. I don't know how to explain this. I think it's kind of reminiscent of, you know, what I said about you know, what happened in Britain with Liz Truss and with the Great British Pound, well, with the not so great British Pound anymore, you know, and all of the other things. It could be a response to all of that. I really don't know. I don't think it matters, because while the dollar dropped, the S&P 500 dropped as well. So it seems like that kind of clear inverse correlation is not happening right now. So I don't really know what to make of it. And it doesn't seem to be, I don't know, that inverse correlation doesn't seem to be happening right now. So I don't really want to look at it too much. Thanks again, man. Subscribe, and we'll be tuning in a lot more. You're very, very welcome. You're very, very welcome. Welcome to the YouTube channel, sir. I got free cash without even signing up. Yeah, there are a few. I don't know why I don't tell you guys this. Yeah, there are a few opportunities. I can't remember which of these platforms it is. It's probably both, where you do indeed get a little bit of free money just for signing up. You don't even have to deposit anything. You can throw that money anywhere you like, and if it makes money, then you can withdraw it. So it is very, very cool, and it's true. Yeah, you don't even need to. Oh, without even signing up? Well, that's probably not possible. I don't know. You probably meant without even depositing or something. It does happen, but those bonuses aren't too big. You know, you want the bigger ones. You want, you know, there are bonuses where you get like a few $100s or whatever, or, you know, even like a free $50 is free money that you can throw back in the market, right? But again, you know, disclaimers. Be careful of your laws. Don't break your laws. Do I really think it's a bear market? I really think it's not a bear market. That's my opinion. I am going to start wrapping this stream up, though, because I just got a call from Grandma. So you guys know how that works. But if you have enjoyed the stream so far, do me a favor and smash up those likes. Let me check if there's anything I've failed to cover so far. Something that maybe there's something I wanted to cover that I haven't done so already. Oh, I did want to look at XRP. Wow, XRP is looking really good. What? It's looking really, really good. Minus 40%. Okay, that's not great, but it's still held its market structure, and that's the good part. I mean, if it drops below this, it would be bad, but it hasn't. So, and this level's at, yeah, basically $2, where it is right now. $1 kind of 90 is looking pretty good. Just tune in. Sorry you've been talking all this time about you being bullish. I'm super bullish still. Very good, or not good. I don't know. We all smoked the Trump hopium, orange freaking rocket man on ketamine, fucked it all up. Online sports betting on trans freaks and women's sports was the real moneymaker. God damn, this guy is is plugged in. Yeah, XRP looks good. XRP looks really good to me. If this market comes back, XRP is gonna have to explode. I don't see how you can be this strong and not explode if the market comes back. It still means XRP is a shitcoin. It still means XRP holders, the ones that are diluted, it still means they're complete idiots. But those of you that are kind of bought XRP, just because it makes sense and it looks like a good opportunity, good on you, man. I mean, you clearly did better than me because I didn't buy XRP yet. I had a little bit. I didn't buy much. What do I think Asia time will drop or up? I don't know. That's really hard to say. And I don't think that kind of analysis is super productive. I think there are a few correlations. Asia seems to buy, America seems to dump, but I don't think that there's anything clear enough to kind of really draw some conclusions off that. Wow, we are very nearly at the 2-hour mark, so that is definitely going to call it for me. If we have any final questions, I'll take them right now. But otherwise, it's been a brilliant live stream today, ladies and gents. Thank you all for tuning in. Very special shout out to those of you that have been here since the beginning. My apologies, we took a little bit longer than I thought to start. There was always some technical issue, but if you have sticked around since the beginning, then thank you. If you just tuned in recently or at some point since the live stream started, then thank you also. It's been a beautiful live stream. You guys know the deal. Whenever there's something big going, I've been a little bit dark on this channel lately, but whenever there's something really interesting going on, or something important, you can rely on your boy being right here to drop those truth bombs. Before I do go off the stream, check out the Twitter profile below. There's a lot of exclusive stuff that I post right there. I actually asked you guys on Twitter if you do want me to go live. I said everyone's so scared. Should I go live again to drop some truth bombs? And you guys really wanted that to happen, so that's absolutely cool. And yeah, there's just some classic shit posting here. I've been saying it for years. Bitcoin is dead. It was born as a decentralized peer-to-peer currency, and it's morphed into a pump and dump shitcoin for the government and their inner circles. I don't think truer words have been spoken on Twitter, to be honest, with regards to Bitcoin. Does this mean I'm bearish? Obviously not. I wrote down below, I still love it, and I hope this changes. But yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at. I still think we're very bullish. I just think that the original purpose of Bitcoin is no longer a force on these markets. But yeah, really an active. This is brilliant. Oh, you spent your whole day watching a White House summit. It was another sell the news event. You thought your Cardano would pump. Couldn't relate. A little bit of shit posting. You know the deal. We're just having fun with it. But here's Solana, by the way. Let's see what Solana's saying. Really swept the low. That's not good. It's got the 886 Fibonacci down here. That could be useful. There's not a lot that looks great on this chart right now. On the daily, I don't know. I don't think it matters. I think it's going to be more of a Bitcoin question, and that's going to be more of a S&P 500 question, and that's more of a Trump question. Everyone needs to zoom out and calm down. 25% dips are uncomfortable, but very common in each bull cycle. Just over a year ago, we were at 43K. This dip is a gift. Buy. Nick, I completely agree with you. Everything except for the buy part, because I don't really comment on that stuff, but I completely agree. 25% dip is nothing. We're at about 28, but yeah, it's nothing. It's really not a big deal. When you see the S&P dropping by 10%, if you're surprised that tech stocks like Tesla are dumping hard, then I don't know, like you must have been living under a rock. If you haven't noticed that that's like extremely normal. It's extremely not. It's never happened that Bitcoin did not form a 40 or 50% drop inside of a bull market. It's never happened. It's always happened. Always happens that Bitcoin forms a significant correction like that inside of a bull market. I don't see why that should end. I don't think it will end. So, I have some pretty clear, opinions on this market, and they're just not bearish long term. They're just not bearish long term or even midterm. I don't see it. I don't think the bull market's over, and I think that it's highly natural that we get these kind of bigger corrections. I think it's actually quite unusual that we haven't had it yet. So it makes sense that we're kind of paying for that right now with some pretty bad sentiment. Like I said, this fear and greed index will be updating in just 3 hours now, so we'll see what that's looking like as well with some numbers. Those of you that are new to the channel, make sure that you have subscribed, hit those likes up. Exclusive offer if you want to get that. That's linked in the description. Thanks for the stream. Great as always. You're very, very welcome, Alex. Can I do analysis on Toshi? I've seen a couple of comments on Toshi. I don't know what this is, but we can take a super quick look at it. Okay, well that looks like a shit coin, doesn't it? Oh, okay, that's an interesting level. It looks like it's kind of moving in its own way, so this could definitely be a bounce zone, but I wouldn't touch this. This looks like a dangerous chart. Enter XRP. You know what? I actually think like if there is a buy right now, it's XRP. That's what I think right now, looking at what I've seen. It looks pretty good to me. This is healthy for the market. It's shaking all the fear out. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And it's working, dude. It's working. Like, we're down 10% on the S&P 500, and everyone thinks the world is over. We're down 28% on Bitcoin, which isn't even close to the standard 40 or 50%, and everybody thinks the world is over. It's clearly working. It's clearly working. And by the way, there's been news of, BlackRock and so on selling their Bitcoin. They still own over 95% of their crypto. So all of this, it just needs to take a step back. It's just a bit of unnecessary overreacting. That's going to be me for this live stream, ladies and gents. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you all so much. Let's see if we can't smash through 500 as this live stream ends on those likes. But absolutely brilliant stuff. And we'll see you all in the next one. Join that free Telegram channel in the description below if you want more free shit. Check out my shit posting on Twitter if you're interested in that kind of thing. And I will see you all on the next one. Cheers.